Hi, this is Cynthia from Cynthia's Chair, and today we're going to talk a little bit more about crawling. I know I've already posted a video about crawling, but I want to give you some more details. This is Poppy. She's my toddler doll that is going to be helping me because she can get into positions as I position her. And I just want to give you some ideas and some suggestions on ways that you can help your child advance from sitting down to crawling and actually crawling across the floor. Crawling is really important. It helps strengthen the shoulder girdle. It also is going to help with hand and finger strength as your child is down into the position where they're weight bearing through their arm. It's also going to help with reciprocal movements of the legs, which is what they're going to need for walking. So I really want to encourage you that you try to get your child into a crawling position. And if they're not crawling by say 10 or 11 months, go ahead and talk to your pediatrician and see if you might need a referral to early intervention. So let's get started. So here's Poppy. She's sitting nicely. I like the way her legs are positioned. Her arms are forward so she can play. What I don't want to see is that a child is sitting in a W position, which is like this. It's not even comfortable for me to get her into that. I'm going to move this little guy so you can see where her feet are positioned. This is not a good position for any child's hips. So I strongly encourage you to alter your child's position so they're not in that W sitting position. So now I'm going to put her on her belly and just kind of show you some ideas and some activities to help her begin the experience of crawling. Now, what I don't want is for baby's face to be down on the floor like that. So what I'm going to do is show you how to use a rolled up towel or blanket to put right under your child's chest, always putting the arms forward. And now, as you can see, I've cleared her mouth and her nose so that she's able to breathe. You may find that you can change the size of the roll that you put under your child as you're beginning to put them into a crawling position based on how much control they have and how much they're able to lift their heads on their own. And you always want to encourage them to lift their head up. And one way to do that is by putting a toy in front of them that you know that they're going to like, so they want to look up at it. So I'm just going to show you. I've taken this and doubled the roll. If I then make it a single, supposing that the child is able to now hold their head up a little bit, and I'm going to have to help her, of course, then you could start giving the child more control themselves over their body position. I'm just going to take this roll back out so we don't need it right now. So here we are. I'm going to be putting her on her knees because that's how I'm going to advance her into a crawling position. And the important thing that I want to stress and for everybody to remember is that you want the big toes to be pointed together. That way you know that she's getting into the right position. If you start to see your child do this, which is going to enhance that W sitting that we don't want your child into, then I want you to just take their little feet and guide them in as they're up playing on their knees, or if they're actually in the hands and knees position getting ready to crawl. So we want to just make sure that we keep those big toes pointing each other. That's something that's easy to remember. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to position her, got her on her knees, and so I might put some toys right here that she can play with so she's enjoying being on her knees. And then I'm going to guide her, as I know she's comfortable in this, down onto her hands and knees. Obviously, Poppy is not as flexible as a child would be for me, but what you are looking to do is to have knees under the hips, both knees under the hips, and then you want to have their arms fairly straight. They don't have to be locked into a straight position, so that as they're starting to gain control, because they've got that weight bearing going on at the shoulder, they can start to learn how to advance forward. And one of the ways that you can help them, so let's say now your child is able to support her upper body with her arms in this position. Now you want to guide her to crawl if she's not doing it on her own. So you simply will take one leg and move it forward. And as you do that, her body will start to do a natural shift, just like we do when we're walking. And what we want to see is that she'll advance an arm. Then you can take the other knee and move it forward, and then she'll advance the other arm. And so that's the initial stage of helping your child get into a crawling position and hopefully advance forward. Now, another thing, even before you start moving those legs forward, is to position your child on their hands and knees and then rock their body back and forth. I always sing row, row, row your boat whenever I'm doing this with a child. It just helps me, I can count how long they stayed up on their hands and knees in that position, and how many times I was able to repeat it, that they kept their balance and they were able to stay like that. So again, I've talked about this in another video about the importance of getting your child into the crawling position. And I want to show you how using this position is going to help your child with independence of movement. So here's your child, hands and knees. And what they're going to learn to do is to bring their body back like this, which gets them into a side sitting position first, which is this. Both knees are bent and the knees are bent going in the same direction. And it gives her the option of playing right here. From that, she can actually go directly into sitting. So it's giving her independence of movement. And likewise, she can then learn to go down from this position and get onto her knees again. So it's really, really, really just helping your child learn to be independent, moving about on the floor so they can get to toys, they can play with them. I'm going to show you that side sitting again. And side sitting will go in both directions, to the left and to the right. Right now I'm going to show you to the left. So if your child is just sitting, and you want to help them get into side sitting, which will then guide them down onto their hands and knees, you want to take the foot that is closest to their body and bring it inward. Then you want to take the other leg and just gently rotate like that, and then guide their hands so that they can go out of this position. What you do not want to do is to take this leg first and position and then this one, because that's awkward on their hip joint. So you don't want to do that. And likewise, if you're going to have her side sit to the right, you want to take this foot in towards her body first and then take this one. And again, you're going to give her something to play with so she's interested over here. There's another thing that happens whenever your child's in side sitting and playing like this, and it's called midline crossing. Midline crossing is your child's ability, or your ability, to move one side of your body to the other side. So midline crossing is taking a hand and crossing over past midline. So in this position, I've got her side sitting to the right, and midline crossing is naturally going to occur with her left hand crossing her midline to play over here. The reverse will happen whenever she's in side sitting to the left. So again, left foot's coming in, then I'm going to rotate the right one. And now this gives her a chance to cross midline with her right hand and play with things over there. All of these activities that I'm showing you are going to help your child with not only movement, but also their brain is going to learn how to mature and learn to do things that are going to be very important for them as they get older. If you want to teach your child how to skip, how to run across the room and keep their balance, you want to start off with good positions whenever they're a baby and a toddler. So I encourage you, if your child is not crawling, again, by 10 or 11 months, you should be talking to your pediatrician and determine whether or not you need to get an early intervention referral. If you have any questions related to the movements, the activities that I showed today, please comment below and I will respond to those comments. I'll also ask you to subscribe to my channel and look for new videos that I'm going to be producing that will help you with your child's development. So I hope you can use some of these activities that I showed you today, that you can help your child get into crawling positions, get into side sitting, move in and out of positions, and that they're on their way to independent walking and getting into everything you can possibly imagine. Have a great day.